this is an interesting story. So, with all this renewed attention on Israel's apartheid state in Gaza and, the West Bank, there are a lot of people are focusing on Palestinian human rights and the plight of the Palestinians. And some of us were paying attention to that, for longer than just the last news cycle, the last, bombing campaigns and rockets and everything. And one of them was this Associated Press reporter, young woman, who was a recent hire by the Associated Press. If you guys don't know much, this is a little insider baseball for journalists. Associated Press and Reuters are examples of what we call newswire services, where they're a press agency. They have reporters literally all over the planet. And they have their own website, of course, and all that, but they really sell their reporting to outlets all over the world, and like our local daily paper here in Santa Maria will run Associated Press stories like all the time for national news, for international news, what have you. This falls under the category of cancel culture. This young woman, new hire, she went to J school, but while she was at school, she did some activism and called for human rights and autonomy for Palestinian people. And, keep in mind, we're hearing so much from the right about cancel culture, and you can't say anything anymore, and the left only uses cancel culture, and blah, 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 right? And a bunch of right-wing, I believe it was the Stanford College Republicans, aided, and they were signal boosted by some conservative media. They found out that this Associated Press reporter had done activism for, and spoke favorably for Palestinian human rights, and the AP fired her. Now this very much reeks of kind of what was done. I mean, a lot of right-wing hit jobs on left journalists. This is from The Hill. Associated Press admits fault in firing journalists targeted by conservatives. The Associated Press admitted to making mistakes over its firing of reporter Emily Wilder, who was targeted by conservatives for her college activism. The news outlet held a town hall on Wednesday, according to the Washington Post, which obtained an audio recording of the meeting. Brian Caraviano, managing editor of the AP, remarked that the mistakes were, quote, mistakes of process and not of outcome. Okay, so in the process of unfairly firing this reporter, but not the firing. Okay. Caraviano said Wilder was given special training for social media after the company deemed past tweets, quote, borderline inappropriate. Still, he said, quote, we do need to be honest with ourselves. We need to admit that we've made some mistakes in the past week. The town hall came 1 week after Wilder was fired from the AP amid conservative backlash to her activism for Palestinian causes. On May 17th, the Stanford College Republicans posted tweets detailing her activism while she was a student at Stanford University 2 years ago. She was fired on May 19th. The AP originally declined to comment on the firing, but the news service later said Wilder was let go for tweets she made while on the job, not for her college activism. However, Wilder later issued a statement on Twitter saying the AP never told her which tweets violated policies. She further suggested that the AP caved to pressure from the right to fire her. More than 100 AP staffers signed an open letter on Monday demanding to know why she was fired. The staffers also voiced concerns that the news service would not support them if they were targeted with a smear attack. Quote, as journalists who cover contentious subjects, we are often the target of people unhappy with scrutiny, the reporters wrote. What happens when they orchestrate a smear campaign targeting another one of us? Interest groups are celebrating their victory and turning their sights on more AP journalists. During the town hall, executives addressed the concerns of the staffers, according to the Post. Deputy Managing Editor Amanda Barrett said, we want to acknowledge that we made missteps in handling the crisis. Please know the AP will protect you. We'll have your back when you face threats online. Okay, sure. No, they won't, because they hung Emily Wilder out to dry after the Stanford College Republicans ripped into her And really, what does the right accuse the left of doing? They just go into your Twitter history and try to find the worst thing and blah, 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 blah. That's what they did to Emily Wilder. I mean, she is a new reporter to the AP. They made her lose her job because she supports human rights for Palestinians. She's not anti-Israel. She's Jewish. There's that as well. Here's a video. She gave an interview to Democracy Now! Let's hear what she has to say.
Last Monday, a group from my alma mater, the Stanford College Republicans, began to post online past posts that I had made on social media in an attempt to expose my history of activism for Palestinian human rights while I was an undergraduate at Stanford University, and in an attempt to link AP to Hamas.
Oh, yeah, that's part of the backstory. Keep in mind, Israel bombed an AP, a building that housed the AP in Gaza, along with Al Jazeera and others.
In the next 2 days, I began to receive a lot of harassment, a lot of pretty heinous harassment, as well as prominent Republicans on the internet began to lambaste me, including Senator Tom Cotton and Ben Shapiro. I was reassured.
Okay, Tom Cotton specifically said, is the AP like housing terrorists? Do they know that they are like, what are the, Tom Cotton, dead-eyed psychopath, fascist, was like, what has the AP done? Why are they in the same building as Hamas, right? Just disgusting human being, Tom Cotton.
During this time by my editors that I would not face repercussions for my past activism and that they just wanted to support me while I was facing the smear campaign. But less than 48 hours after the Stanford College Republicans began to post about me, I was fired. The reason given was a supposed social media violation sometime after I joined AP on May 3rd. I was not given an explanation for what social media policy I violated or what tweet had violated policy, and I still have not received an explanation.
So that's a whole bunch of bullshit. Not cool. And, who's here with their galaxy brain take on this matter? None other but grifting, loser, terrible hack, Tim Pool, everybody. Tim Pool is here to let us know what he thinks. So what does Tim Pool say? She posted pro-Palestinian stuff as an employee, and AP fired her. How is this Ben Shapiro's fault when she even says she was fired for what she posted after May 3rd as an employee? Total bullshit. Just this guy's full of shit. She just said she wasn't told what tweet she was fired for, and she was fired because she was the target, of a smear campaign, of cancel culture, the right-wing cancel culture, right? And, good old Matt Bender of the Doomed podcast, the Doom Show, he starts calling Tim Pool out. The idea that working at a news outlet means you can never have or share an opinion on any issue whatsoever is ludicrous, and yet I'm absolutely not surprised that the, quote, free speech advocates have this view. Yeah, and keep in mind, Tim Pool... Tim Pool is a totally slanted, biased, calls himself a journalist. What did the guy do? He took video of Occupy, and now he's a journalist, and really just talks into his camera. That's what I'm doing here. There's nothing special about talking into a microphone, people. Thinks it's okay for this person to be fired, has nothing but excuses for right-wing cancel culture when he's constantly decrying left-wing cancel culture. Doesn't want journalists to be activists when, we all know it. Tim Pool went to, was it Sweden or Denmark? I can't remember. He went to one of the Scandinavian countries to find the no-go zones where the Muslims were out of control. Didn't find shit. Was basically trying to slant the reporting the whole time. So Tim Pool replied to Matt Bender, I'm absolutely not surprised the activist doesn't know standard journalistic ethics. There's no argument, only a misunderstanding of what journalism is, what standard ethics are, and your desire for political outcome. This is why journalism is on fire. Talk about the dumpster calling the, talk about the dumpster fire, calling the trash can fire, whatever. The pot calling the kettle black. Matt Bender, question: do you trust Glenn Greenwald to be an ethical journalist? Tim Pool, he's always been an activist, and The Intercept has always been as well. And then Matt Bender, Tim, this is your opinion of Glenn Greenwald from just a few months ago.
I'm like, this dude's legit. Like, he's absolutely legit.
Legit.
He's willing to look at the facts and say this is, what is and what isn't. Glenn Greenwald does the same thing. That's a rarity in journalism today. And you know what? This gives me a bit of hope. These high profile journalists leaving and doing their own thing. I'm like,
he's talking about Substack. I mean, what a joke. Matt Bender also he also posted this. It's literally the first thing listed in his bio. Tim Pool, journalist, disaffected liberal. Oh, wow. That's funny. Trev Flat 5 in the comments says, Israel told the U.S. that there was Hamas gunfire coming from the area near the AP building in 2014. So it was a valid military target. U.S. replied, okay, question mark. Well, according to Tom Cotton and Republicans, they're housing Hamas, these journalists. I mean, anything at all they could to attack journalists, to vilify journalists. That's the right's game, and guys, that's out of the fascist playbook. It's one of the things from the beginning that had me concerned about Donald Trump. I know it created waves at the newspaper I was at, because I had political opinions about a right-wing leader calling journalists enemy of the people and fake news for reporting critically on his administration. I know I paid a professional price for that. This is just how it goes. Cancel culture is a problem only when the left does it, according to the right wing. They'll do it whenever they want. I mean, guys, the Dixie Chicks criticized Bush for the war. They were destroyed because of it. They had to come out. They came out of hiding years and years later. Now just known as the Chicks. Right?